Get ready.
Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Play to Win podcast. My name is Tyler, and I'm joined by my co-host, Kieran. Kieran, man, what's going on?
Nothing much, just hanging out. It's currently just after midnight, so sleeping schedule's officially ruined, but, going good.
Yeah, we're doing things a little bit weird, a little bit different with this episode, especially because this episode is episode 9.5.
Yeah.
Not episode 10, because this is not going to be a full episode of the Play to Win podcast. The next full episode is going to be our next one. Karen, you mind if I say what the next one is?
No, go for it.
Yeah, you all will be finding out what the next one is in 2 days. The next one is going to be an E3 2021 predictions episode. It was going to go up last week, but scheduling caused things to get moved around and all, which is why we didn't have anything last Monday or last Wednesday, actually, is what I should say. So because of all that, we're doing this mini episode now, which is recapping the news from the last 2 weeks. So we're going to do a recap of last week's news, which doesn't have much, and then a recap of this week's news, which has a lot. We're going to try to get through it as quickly as possible in a brief mentions type manner, although some things we will probably stick around on for a little bit and talk about some. But before we get into it, though, remember to go follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Play to Win Game. Follow us on those socials for updates on the show. If you're following us on those socials, you would have seen that we posted on Twitter last week saying, because of scheduling issues, no new episode, but there are going to be 2 episodes this week.
Yep.
If you followed us on Twitter, you would have known about it already. If you follow us on Twitter, Instagram as well, and on YouTube at Play to Win, you will also know that we got a bunch of new videos that have gone up since the last official full episode of the podcast. We had Kieran's video go up about his top 5 games that are on Game Pass for this month, or just in general?
Just in general, you can play them right now.
Yep. His top 5 favorite games. Go see what they are. If people know you, they can probably guess what one of them is. I'm not going to say what that one is, though.
Interestingly, not number 1.
That is interesting, actually. I didn't get a chance to watch the video yet, but it is very interesting that it's not number 1. I would have expected it to be. I wonder what the reasoning is there. So yeah, go check that video out. That one went up this past Friday. The day that we were recording this, actually. We were recording this on Friday, May 28th.
It's actually Saturday, May 29th.
Okay, we're not all in the future like you are. Okay. Us over here in the States, it's Friday, May 29th at 7:05 p.m. Yep. So yes, that video went up today on this day. You can go check that one out. Also, earlier this week, a couple days ago, my review of Persona 5 Strikers went up. Go give that a watch. I really enjoyed the game. I had a lot of fun playing that review together. So go check that one out. I think it's a great one. Prior to that, I did a video reaction to the latest Biomutant trailer prior to the game's release. I hadn't seen anything from that game since it was first announced years ago. So I saw the trailer came out. I wanted to give it a look, see if it would, change my mind on the game, make it appeal to me some. And I was intrigued by what I saw. Reviews came out. Reviews were kind of like, yeah, this game isn't all that great, which is kind of what I expected. But I was still intrigued by what I saw. I still liked what I saw. So yeah, regardless, give those videos a watch. It's been a lot of fun stuff, a lot of activity going on over here in the Play to Win world. Definitely look forward to our next episode. It's coming out 2 days after this one goes up. This mini episode is going up on Monday, May 31st, Memorial Day here in the US. And then the E3 2021 predictions episode will be going live on June 2nd, Wednesday, June 2nd. So come back 2 days from now for that one. It's going to be a lengthy one. And we're going to have some guests on for that show. I'm not going to say who they are. You will find out when we do the podcast. Okay. It's not Alana Pierce. Okay. We wish it was, because that also happened as well. After. Yeah. Karen, please. I know you.
No, brain still can't compute.
Yeah, yeah. Again, if you followed us on Twitter and Instagram, you would have seen that a lot of peers liked one of our clips, one of our preview clips on Instagram. Blew both of our minds. We posted about it on the Twitter and Instagram. Unfortunately, she is not our guest. That's going to be on our E3 predictions episode. But we're still excited by the two guests that we have. It's going to be a very fun time. So look forward to that. Come back in 2 days to listen to that episode or watch that episode over on YouTube. With all that being said, Karen, I don't think we have any more housekeeping stuff to do. You know, like, subscribe, comment, review, share the show everywhere, all that jazz. We're just going to get right into this because there's a lot to go through. A whole lot. Last week, there wasn't too much. But this week, a whole lot happened. It's like the industry said, you know what? We're just going to start dropping big news bombs.
Yeah.
Like, before E3 because we just want to do this and it's not cool. It's thrown things off, but we're going to make this work. Some of these things, like I said, we will have, you know, a fair bit to talk about with them. Some of them is literally just this happened, this is happening, and we're keeping it pushing. We're probably not going to much to say about it.
No.
With that being the case, Karen, if there is anything that you want to talk about, just raise your hand. Okay,
will do.
That way, I see you have your hand raised, and I know I don't need. I know don't just speed on to the next thing. Cool.
Got you.
All right, fantastic. The very first thing here from last week. We're going to do last week's news first. Last week, Crysis 2 Remastered got teased by Crytek. They had posted a tweet on Twitter, which I saw, with a line from Crysis 2. With the main character, he says, "They used to call me Prophet." They posted that line on Twitter, and then I guess shortly after they posted a screenshot from the game as well, and haven't said anything since then at all. We recently got the Crysis 1 remaster, I believe, last year in 2020. So Crysis 2 remaster, if that's coming, that is awesome. Maybe we'll actually hear an official announcement during E3 Summer Game Fest during that whole season. I'm excited about this. If it is true, Crysis 2 is definitely my favorite of the three. Not just because it's in New York. I just think it's just a great game all around. So yeah, that happened. Looking forward to hearing more about that. The next big thing that happened last week was this long Overwatch 2 stream in which the devs, it was mainly focused on PvP. So they showed off some new multiplayer maps. They talked about new PvP changes, you know, how tanks are going to work, how assaults and not assault. It is assault, right? That's what the attackers are called, right? No, that's not what they're called. DPS, damage.
Yeah, DPS.
I messed it up. Assault is the name of the mode. But how tanks, damage, and support roles are being changed. There are different buffs and debuffs that they're going to have and things like that. Yeah, and also, I guess the most noteworthy thing from this whole stream was the fact that PvP is no longer 6v6 for any mode. It is 5v5. Kieran, you got your hand raised. What's up? I know you have thoughts on this.
Yeah, I'll start off by saying I'm not super opposed to it. I mean, of course, I prefer 6v6 because that's the way it's always been. But I'm sure, you know, after a little while, I'll get used to it. Right. I don't like them taking out a tank because they're like, the reasoning behind it was, you don't need 2 tanks. I'm like, yes, I do. I need 2 tanks. Yes, please. Because one, don't need 2 DPS. Take out DPS. But also, there are several instances I could think of where you need 2 tanks. So, don't necessarily agree with them taking out a tank. But like I say, I'm sure that we will get used to it when the game launches. And it's probably also worth noting that Overwatch 1 PvP is also switching to 5v5 when Overwatch 2 launches because those games will be compatible. But I really want them to include an arcade mode that is 6v6 so that you still have the option to play 6v6 if you want to.
Yes, that would be great since they still have that as an option for if you prefer playing without role queue now.
Yeah.
In current Overwatch. So yeah, I imagine maybe they would keep that there as a alternative mode. But yeah, the whole tank things. If I'm right, the reasoning was that they want to have it so that tanks get more aggressive and actually in there in matches. If I'm right, I was watching and listening, but also more so half listening once I realized, half paying attention, I guess, once I realized that the gameplay was just more Overwatch, which not a bad thing.
Yeah. No,
It was
absolutely
just
not.
is because it's PvP. It's like, okay, it's just more Overwatch. So I was more so like
Yeah.
kind of listening while being on Twitter. But if I'm right, they were saying, they wanted to get the tanks more in there, have them be more aggressive instead of having the tanks be more like it's like a fallback type of thing. But they've also added into the maps more pieces of cover that like you could actually hide behind. Whereas on most maps now, like the paths are like straight, just open paths. There is no real thing for you to hide behind. Your tank is what you hide behind, essentially. Either you hide behind the tank or you hide behind the payload. One of the two, but there's nothing really for you to hide behind.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know these changes are definitely controversial. I haven't read too much into it, but I know that like the people in the competitive community are kind of like, what's up with my job right now? What's up with my job? So it's gonna be interesting. We'll have to see how this all shakes out as we learn more information about the game. I think I'll be more excited to see PvE stuff and the story stuff for Overwatch 2, since that's the real big new stuff for this game. But yeah, that's all we got from Overwatch 2 last week. The stream showed off like, a bunch of multiplayer matches and modes. If you want to go watch it, by all means, go watch it. There's lots of footage out there. So that's all we got to say about that. The next big news, which also kind of came out of nowhere, was the news that Deep Silver has a new studio coming, and it is Free Radical Design. For those who do not know, Free Radical Design was the developer behind the Timesplitters series way back in the day. Timesplitters has not been around for a very long time. I never played it, but I know that a lot of people love Timesplitters and have been aching for Timesplitters to come back. So this news was surprising. So I'm going to read here. They posted a tweet on May 20th announcing this. They said here, you asked and we listened. We have been working on plans to bring the Timesplitters franchise back to life and are pleased to let you know that we are setting up a new Deep Silver development studio to do just that. Free Radical Design is reforming and will be headed up by industry and Timesplitters veterans Steve Ellis and David Doak. I believe I pronounced his last name correctly. This is an exciting first step in the process. Development on a new game has not yet started, and we will update you when we have more news to share. Exciting stuff for fans of the franchises. I know they've been aching for that to come back. Good for them. I imagine we will not see anything from that game until, honestly, I would say end of next year at the earliest, but I think that's a stretch. I would say more like this time 2023 is when we see anything from that game. But yeah, exciting stuff for Timesplitters fans.
Yeah, for sure.
Then let's head over to Rockstar World, where we hear, that's not the name of the website, but head over to the land of Rockstar, where they announced the release date for the next gen version of GTA 5 and GTA Online. They announced this on their blog over here on rockstargames.com. They say here, the expanded and enhanced versions of Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online are arriving on PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S with new features and more on November 11th, 2021. As an added bonus, this summer's updates to GTA Online will include special benefits for players to take advantage of in these expanded and enhanced versions when they drop. Plus, in honor of the upcoming 20th anniversary of the genre-defining Grand Theft Auto 3, we'll have even more fun surprises to share, including some specifically for GTA Online players. They then go on to say that the standalone GTA Online is going to be available for both platforms, but PS5 owners get it for free for the first 3 months of its release, and PS Plus members on PS4, every month you're going to be getting $1 million in GTA money every month until GTA Online comes out on PS5. I think this date is kind of in the realm of where I expected it to come out. I think it's just really funny. They just dropped this on a random day. They were like, okay, this is happening. Just so you know, guys, November 11th, that's GTA 5 day.
Yeah. I fully expected them to open this Sony E3 conference with this and freak everyone out thinking it's GTA 6 again.
we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. We'll see what happens with that one. Moving on, though, we got last week details about Jeff Keighley's Summer Game Fest. That is starting on June 10th. Reading from an IGN article by Rebecca Valentine here, saying this event will be part of IGN's Summer of Gaming. Oh, wait, no, my bad. That's just their little preamble at the beginning. Saying here, the season of Summer Games announcements is nearly upon us as Jeff Keighley has announced the date of this year's Summer Game Fest with festivities beginning on Thursday, June 10th. Summer Game Fest will open with an event called Kickoff Live, a live streamed showcase taking place on June 10th at 11 a.m. Pacific Time, 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 7 p.m. UK, across Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and other major streaming services. The event will be hosted by Jeff Keighley and promises to feature, quote, more than a dozen world premieres and announcements from select publishers, end quote. Alongside new major announcements, Kickoff Live will feature Day of the Devs, an indie game showcase headed up by I Am 8-Bit and Double Fine Productions. And it will also include a performance by Weezer, who will perform a new, quote, stream-safe game soundtrack song, end quote, that Summer Game Fest promises will be freely streamable across Twitch, YouTube, and, quote, anywhere else without being blocked or losing monetization, end quote. It's cool. I'm looking forward to this. A nice lengthy showcase is what it's going to be, I believe, because I think in the replies on Twitter when Jeff announced this, I think he said the show is around 2 hours or so. Yeah. I think that's what he said. And there's going to be, like you said, a bunch of world premieres and stuff from both big games and small games as well. And also another musical performance was announced for this yesterday during the Sonic Central stream. There is going to be for the 30th anniversary of Sonic, there's going to be a musical like orchestra performance. Nice. That's free for anyone to watch, and that's part of Summer Game Fest. So that is exciting stuff. I wonder what Jeff has over there. He has a whole list of developers and publishers who are involved. I'm not going to read the entire list because it's not lengthy, but it's just a bunch of names. But, we got big names like 2K, Activision, Annapurna, Bandai Namco, Blizzard, Capcom, EA, Epic, Sony. I said Sony, but I meant PlayStation more specifically. Ubisoft, Warner Brothers Games, Xbox. Bunch of big names are going to be there. Yeah. If you want all the information, go to summergamefest.com where, everything is listed out in detail there. Very exciting stuff, though. The next thing from last week, and this is the, I believe, second to last bit of big news from last week, is that Starfield is reportedly not coming to PlayStation at all. It is going to be an Xbox and PC exclusive. This came from Jeff Grubb. He talked about it in an article here on GamesBeat. He's insider. He knows a bunch of things like this. If you've been following his summer game mess and all, he knows things and all like that. But he says here in his GamesBeat article that Microsoft has no plans to release Bethesda's upcoming space role-playing adventure Starfield on Sony's completing PlayStation 5 console. That shouldn't surprise too many people after Xbox boss Phil Spencer said in March that Microsoft acquired Bethesda to add exclusives to Xbox Game Pass. But I've separately confirmed that the situation applies to Starfield through sources familiar with the decision. It's not that surprising to me. It's disappointing, I guess. Not that surprising, though. We still haven't seen anything from the game, though. So I am very curious to see what this game is. Yeah. As people brought up not a tweet, but a clip from last year. I forgot when it was last year. When someone, I think it was like someone at Xbox asking Todd Howard, hey, what's going on with the game? All like that. They asked him something specific. He was like, I think it's really interesting that so many people are excited for a game that they haven't even seen anything from yet. And it's like, it's very true. It's a good point there. For all we know, this game could just be just walking in space. Yeah. And people will be hyped for it somehow, some way. But no, I'm still very much looking forward to hearing about this game and seeing more of it very soon. Kieran, your hand is up.
Just a really like offhand thing. Todd Howard is my favorite. Is my second favorite person in the video game industry. I love Todd Howard.
Who's number one?
Who do you think?
Alana Pierce.
Phil Spencer.
Oh wow. I was legitimately thinking it was Alana Pierce. I'm like, is it her? Is it maybe
She's third.
Reggie? Oh, okay. Oh, well, she's up there. She's up there in the top 3. She got to be in the top 3 after she liked our clip. So, I mean,
Yeah.
All right. The final piece of big news from last week is that WB Games is going to be broken up and spread across 2 different main companies and all. It's coming from VGC here, saying Warner Brothers Games will be broken up as owner AT&T unloads its media business in a sale/merger with Discovery. On Monday, telecommunications giant AT&T said it had agreed a deal to offload WB Games' parent, Warner Media, which will merge with Discovery to form a new standalone company billed as, quote, one of the largest global streaming players, end quote. The transaction, which is anticipated to close in mid-2022, will see AT&T receive $43 billion and its shareholders receive stock representing 71% of the new company. Warner's games division comprises 11 studios. I'm going to read them all here. That way everyone has context for what this split means. Their 11 studios are Rocksteady, NetherRealm, Monolith. Monolith, for those who don't know, they made the Middle-earth games, Shadow of War, Water, and War. TT Games, they make the Lego games. Avalanche Software, they are working on Hogwarts Legacy. WB Games Montreal, they're doing Gotham Knights. WB Games Boston, they did Game of Thrones Conquest. And then there's WB Games Los Angeles, San Francisco, San Diego, and New York. While WB Games wasn't mentioned in the Monday's announcement, a spokesperson told Axios the deal will see it broken up in some form. Quote, some of the gaming arm will stay with AT&T and some will go with the new company, end quote, they said. This is definitely interesting considering, as the article here notes, that AT&T, they had put the division up for sale last year, but then they took it off the market instead and just said, we're not going to sell it. I mean, great, they're not selling the games the games division specifically, but it's interesting that this is happening. That it's like, all right, we're getting split. So it's going to be interesting to see who falls where and how this affects the teams and any games that are like currently in development. So a game that and when I say currently in development, I don't mean a game that's currently in development and far along in development. Like say, I guess we could say Gotham Knights or Suicide Squad or whatever NetherRealm is working on. I wouldn't count those because I imagine they're far enough along in development where you're not going to see any major changes to those games in the Hogwarts Legacy as well. But anything that's like in pre-production, I wonder what's going to happen with those games, in those studios and everything like that. It's going to be interesting to see. We'll have to wait, of course, for official announcement and confirmation of the split happening and who's going where, but definitely something to keep our eyes and ears on over there. Okay, so that is the big news from last week. Not much, really not that much at all. Now, when we get to this week, it goes into 17 pieces of news here, as opposed to the 7 that we just went through. Thankfully, again, some of the 17 we'll be able to get through pretty quickly. All right, Kieran, are you ready to start going down the list of the big news from this week?
Let's do it.
All right, so first up here, E3 public registration opens up next week. Looking at this from IGN article written by Joe Scrubbles, saying that public registration for E3 2021 will open next week on Thursday, June 3rd. Signing up is going to give you access to the show's web portal and app. And the web portal and app will be open on the first day of the show, June 12th, and give you access to, quote, virtual booths, hosted events, video conferencing, profile and avatar creation, online forums, and more, end quote. So if you're interested in getting access to all that stuff, make sure that you register for the app next week. That way you can actually use the web portal and the app itself.
Yes.
Hopefully it won't be, the websites won't crash from people trying to get all in it and everything like that. But we'll see what happens. So get in there, register for E3 public stuff and all that jazz. Next thing we have here, this started to be rumored over the weekend. So today's the 29th, today's the 28th, tomorrow's 29th. So this rumor started up on the 22nd, if I'm correct, and was somewhat confirmed, not entirely, not officially at the very least, but rumor seems to be legit and was confirmed as legit by this past Monday of a new Final Fantasy game that is that's PlayStation exclusive. I don't know if it's PlayStation 5 exclusive, but I believe it's PlayStation 5 exclusive Final Fantasy game. And it is a spin-off. It is apparently a Souls-like Final Fantasy spin-off called Final Fantasy Origin, set in the world of the original Final Fantasy game, and it's being made by, alongside Square Enix. They're working with Team Ninja, the developer that made the Neo games and Ninja Gaiden. So I don't think anyone would have expected a Souls-like Final Fantasy game, but I'm very intrigued to see what this is going to be.
Yeah.
Like, I think the creatures in the Final Fantasy world, I think they definitely lend themselves to a Souls-like gameplay experience. Like, I'm just imagining fighting a behemoth from Final Fantasy in a Souls-like type of game, and that would be difficult. Behemoths are already tough enough as they are in regular Final Fantasy games, and a Souls-like game, I imagine, is going to be real tough. And rumors have it that this game is going to be exclusive to PS5 at first. It'll come to PC later on down the road. Doesn't look like it's going to be coming to any console sometime in the future. And we'll be seeing this at some point during E3. I'm very excited to find out more about this game, though. Very, very excited to hear more about this. Yes, Kieran.
I will say I have absolutely no horse in that race. I don't play Final Fantasy. Don't play Soulsborne games, Souls-like games. Absolutely detest that it is PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah, I can understand. I can understand that. Yeah, I don't. And it's interesting seeing Sony go all in. Well, I don't want to say. I guess we could say all in on getting Final Fantasy stuff exclusive to the PlayStation. Like, we had Final Fantasy VII Remake exclusive. That's timed exclusive, granted, but that was time exclusive. Then we have Final Fantasy 16 seemingly console exclusive, maybe come to PC down the line, but console exclusive solidly.
Yep.
And then this is apparently console exclusive as well. It is really crazy how hard they're going all in to have Final Fantasy be like, hey, just identify it with PlayStation again, like back in the PS2, PS1 days, where like you thought Final Fantasy, you immediately thought PlayStation.
Yeah, and like I've voiced my opinion several times on like third-party exclusives in existing franchises, like having Final Fantasy 16 as a PlayStation exclusive when you can play other Final Fantasy games on Xbox or Switch or PC or whatever. Uh-huh. And I understand that Final Fantasy has this history with PlayStation, but since you have brought it to other consoles, it is now incredibly unfair you not bringing it to those consoles.
Yeah, I've voiced my opinion before, like the timed exclusivity, third-party exclusivity deals and stuff. And I feel some are easier, for me personally, to reckon with and understand and see as being like, you know what? That's fine. It's not that big a deal. I feel like when it comes to an existing franchise, right? In the case of this, where this is a spin-off of the main franchise, I would say, okay, if that's like strictly console exclusive to one console, not as big a deal as mainline. In the case of Final Fantasy as well, because of the nature of each of the mainline games, where each one is different from the previous ones, I think it makes it a bit easier to reckon with 16 being PlayStation exclusive, since it's not like the Tomb Raider situation where Rise of the Tomb Raider ended up being console exclusive, where it's like that is a direct continuation of the previous game, and you're just like straight up fucking go, ooh, woof. God, see? Ooh. Ooh, the
Well then.
very first time it ever happened. I said it, and man, whew,
Literally the same day I messaged our guest saying we don't swear on the podcast.
yeah, and you know what? That happened. Never done it before,
Oh, that's hilarious.
and it just slipped on out this time. Wow, 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 wow. Okay,
Oh,
well, let me rephrase what I just said then. All right, I'm gonna rephrase that. When it's a case like this, like the Rise of the Tomb Raider, where it's a direct continuation of the previous game, you're messing with the people who play the previous one.
yeah.
You're screwing them over, and like you're like deliberately leaving them out of something that they were just invested in, involved in, and all.
Yeah.
So that I feel is definitely something to like be up in arms about. Final Fantasy, I completely understand it because ever since 13, it's been the 13 trilogy was multi-platform and 15 was multi-platform. 14 is still PSC and PS5 exclusive. I don't think there's a deal there behind that at all. I think that might just be what Square decided to do. I'm not quite sure. Because I mean, they've been asked about bringing 14 to Xbox, and I think in the past they've been like, yeah, no, kind of not gonna do that.
Yeah.
So I think with 16, one would have expected it to be on Xbox, and it definitely does suck that it's not. I think it's just in the case of Final Fantasy, with the anthology type nature of each of the games, it's a tad easier to swallow and understand and be okay with that 16 is not on another platform. You get what I mean?
Yeah, and I'm not, I'm not like boycotting the game or like super mad at Square Enix for doing it. It's just really annoying that
yeah, definitely. I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah, the like a game that like even though each game is different, somebody could have played Final Fantasy 15 on Xbox and been like, this is my favorite game of all time. I need to play the next one. I'm in love with Final Fantasy now, and now they have to go out and spend like £350 to £450 to play the next one.
Right. No, yeah, and I totally understand that, which is why like it still definitely does suck. And just like with the Bethesda stuff, it's like you understand the business nature of it. Although the Bethesda stuff is a whole nother bag of worms. I'm not getting back into that one right now. It's a way bigger deal.
Yeah, I might swear again.
Yeah, that I'm amazed that actually happened.
Oh, I'm not letting that go.
But no, yeah, I get what you mean with Final Fantasy Origin. Regardless, looking forward to this game. And from what I've heard with the rumors, apparently it's meant to be like a bit more accessible than your standard Souls-like or Souls-like or Neo game. So perhaps I'll actually play this one too. The Final Fantasy nature of it will probably be what gets me to go into it.
Yeah.
But we'll find out more about that very soon, seemingly. Next big story here. I don't know if you'll have anything to say about this, Karen, but it is that Valve is apparently going to be making a portable handheld console, or not going to be making. They have it in the works. They are currently making one. I'm reading this from Ars Technica, written by Sam Machkovich. It's titled "Exclusive: Valve is making a Switch-like portable gaming PC." Article reads. I'm going to bounce around the article a bit because it's kind of lengthy, and there's only certain parts that we need to talk about here. Starts saying here, video game and hardware studio Valve has been secretly building a Switch-like portable PC designed to run a large number of games on the Steam PC platform via Linux, and it could launch, supply chain willing, by year's end. Multiple sources familiar with the matter have confirmed that the hardware has been in development for some time, and this week, Valve itself pointed to the device by slipping new hardware-related code into the latest version of Steam, the company's popular PC gaming storefront and ecosystem. Now, I'm going to I'm going to look at the next paragraph here. It says, on Tuesday, Steam DB operator Pavel Jundik spotted the change in Steam's code, which pointed to a new device named SteamPal. The name is derivative of a previously discovered code term Neptune, which began appearing in September of last year and came with a Neptune optimized games string. At the time, curious code crawlers thought this discovery referred to some type of controller. Technically, that's true. The Steam Pal, whose name we're putting in scare quotes because we do not have confirmation of the device's final name, is an all-in-one PC with gamepad controls and a touchscreen. In other words, it looks and functions like a Nintendo Switch, albeit without removable Joy-Con controller functionality. Wow.
Yeah.
Once I heard this news, I immediately thought back to when, Gabe Newell was like, you'll have a better idea of what we mean in the future by year's end, and it's not what you think. It's one of those things where it's like, why did this idea never pop into our heads? Why did neither of us think, oh, they're actually just going to make a console themselves?
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. They see how popular the Switch is. The PC gaming market is bigger than consoles. So, sure, makes sense.
Yeah, it is a shock. And I think the bigger question here is, though, how good is it, like, performance-wise and all like that? How good is it performance-wise? How many devs support it? And then how well does Valve themselves support it? Because remember, some years ago, they tried to make Steam consoles a thing.
Yeah.
Where it was basically like they had all these different SKUs of them and everything like that. And that kind of, I actually forget that they even came out. I actually thought like, oh yeah, did those even come out? And they did, if I'm right. But kind of just didn't make an impact at all.
Yeah. I mean, they have like the Steam controller and the little like Steam box you can buy that plugs into your TV. You can play games through, but none of them. I don't think they really took off.
Yeah. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if this takes off, especially since it seems like it's basically the Steam version of Switch. So the potential is there for this to go well. I think it's just a matter of is the support there to help it out?
Yeah, I mean, put it this way: if the support is there, I'm definitely interested.
Right. I'd move down a bit here in the article because there's just a little bit more here that I want to just throw in here. It says here that the Steam Pal will go a similar route with a system on a chip, likely coming from either Intel or AMD, not NVIDIA. At least one Steam Pal prototype version is quite wide compared to the Nintendo Switch. This extra width accommodates a slew of control options. It says, no, Valve is likely not slapping an entire QWERTY keyboard onto its system, but the company has packed in a standard array of gamepad buttons and triggers, along with a pair of joysticks and at least one thumb-sized touchpad, in addition to the device's touch-sensitive screen. The Steam Pal's touchpad is likely smaller than the pair of touchpads that came standard on every Steam controller. Move it down a tad bit more here. The Steam Pal Switch-like properties will include the option to dock to larger monitors via its USB Type-C port, but I don't have firm details on exactly how that connection will work or whether Valve has any plans for an eventual Steam Pal dock. And then lastly, the Steam Pal was built with Linux as a likely target, an idea that aligns with Valve's continued push to make its entire catalog compatible with the open source OS, particularly through Steam Proton. Interesting stuff here. And I'm very, very curious to see what this ends up looking like and what comes of this.
Maybe this is what, because remember when we reported on the Gabe Newell story that broke 2 weeks ago, week before, I can't remember.
Sometime ago.
In that article, they had said that Phil Spencer had apparently been meeting with Gabe Newell. So maybe this is what their meeting was about. Maybe they bring Game Pass to it.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I wonder when we hear about this. I don't think we hear about it during summer. Maybe. I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah. Well, anything can happen, really. They're making a handheld console. Anything's possible these days.
Yeah. Before you move on, I'm going to take a drink real quick.
Yes. Still can't believe that happened. Alrighty. Okay. Our next little story here. It is about PlayStation. They are planning an expansion into mobile games and apps. This is from IGN. Jordan Alleman saying here, PlayStation is planning an expansion into mobile games and apps. The news was revealed thanks to a set of investor relations documents published on May 26th. Within the document, Sony Interactive Entertainment CEO Jim Ryan talks about future expansions into the, quote, services, mobile, and social arenas, end quote, potentially using existing Sony first-party IP. And then they have a quote here from Ryan saying, quote, we have been thinking about how players enjoy our content and have had some early success with experimenting with mobile games and apps to provide more choice to gamers, Ryan notes. End quote. More specifically, he points out that PlayStation's roster of first-party IP, quote, can transition to smartphone gaming and complement our AAA games or live service games, end quote. This right here came out, like I said, May 26th, all the documents. And I was looking over the documents as because people in the games industry, like analysts and media types and all, were like posting screenshots of the docs and all. And I was looking at them, and this is just a move that makes sense, really, like naturally, with what PlayStation wants to. Like, they want to expand their business, and the console business is, it's big, it's important for them. But there was a slide on there that I saw where it was like the important, like how much I think revenue or importance really consoles had compared to like services and content and everything. And it was fiscal year 2020 to fiscal year 2013, I think, or something like that. And the amount for console has drastically shrunk to like maybe 20 something percent compared to like the 48% it was before. So moving, expanding expanding outward outside the console space to other areas, it just makes sense from a revenue perspective, and then also getting more people into the PlayStation ecosystem as well. Kind of like, how Xbox has been doing for the past couple years and all like that.
Yep.
Now, going hand in hand with that is this other news that Uncharted 4 is going to likely be coming to PC. This also came from the investor report as well. There was a slide on there that talked about, the plans to bring more PlayStation IP exclusives to PC. Days Gone was on there, and under Days Gone was Uncharted 4. So Days Gone is already on PC now. Horizon was last year. Death Stranding was, I believe, last year as well.
Yep.
So Uncharted 4, for all we know, it could be later on this year, or it could be sometime next year. But I mean, like, perfect. That's a great game. It's a great game there. Bring it to PC. Maybe it'll also come alongside the Uncharted Nathan Drake trilogy. That way, the whole Uncharted series is on PC, minus Lost Legacy.
Yeah, it would make sense.
But yeah, that's cool stuff right there. Wonder when that's going to happen, though. Wonder when we hear official stuff about it. Also, apologies if anyone hears a little tick in the background of my audio. That is water you hear hitting a pot. It's raining, and when it rains real hard, it kind of leaks in through my ceiling sometimes. Two really easy ones. We're going to breeze through them. We got Pokemon release dates this week. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. Those are the remakes of Diamond and Pearl from the DS. Those will be coming this year, November 19th. Pokemon Legends Arceus, the brand new open world action RPG type game. That's going to be coming January 28th, 2022. I was not expecting to get these dates just so randomly out of nowhere, but these dates make sense with what these games are and the time frames that we were already given. Yep. So perfect. Looks forward to it. Pokemon fans are going to have a lot to play, though, within like that time frame. You got Diamond and Pearl in November, and then 2 months later, Pokemon Legends. Like, that is actually perfect timing, the way they set that up right there.
Yep, 100%.
So, we got a new Unreal Engine 5 demo of sorts this week. So earlier this week, Epic Games, they put out a video on, online. It was a 15-minute walkthrough of basically Unreal Engine 5. and saying, hey, these are like different functions in it. And they use it to show off this Valley of the Ancient demo that they kind of have put together. And it looks amazing. It looks really cool. It is very much more so focused on developers. Because it's like, hey, this is what the UI is, and these are the different things you could do in it.
Yeah.
Regardless, if you're a developer, definitely go check it out. Unreal Engine 5 is available in early access, and the Valley of the Ancient demo is available for you to modify in the early access. If you're not a developer, but you are like intrigued and fascinated by this behind the scenes type look at how game engines work and are able to do things and stuff, give it a watch. It's very cool, very worth looking into. Okay, 2 more here. One good, one I guess Karen would say is not good. shaking his head in sadness. We got PlayStation Plus games announced for June. Our 3 games are Operation Tango for PS5 only. That one is a co-op spy game. So that looks really cool. I might see if I can get someone to play it with me. And there's Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. That's a brand new game. It was announced earlier this week. It is a remake of Virtua Fighter 5 coming to PS4. It is exclusive. It is a console exclusive, so it's only on PS4 right. It's only on PS4 right now. I believe it is going to be on PC. Don't quote me on that. I didn't see that information, but I'm not quite sure. But it is launching through PlayStation Plus, and Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown will be available for PlayStation Plus through August 2nd. So that'll be there this month and next month, which is awesome. And then the last one for June is Star Wars Squadrons. I didn't get a chance to play it last year. I will definitely play it now. I will add it to my queue, to my library, and give that game a shot because it always looks really cool. Now, on the Xbox side of things, Karen, do these games tickle your fancy?
First 3, nope. Last one I've played really, really good.
And that's kind of the consensus I had here. I was like, man, that's no shade to like the first 3 games, but the 4th one I was like, that seems like the heavy hitter here.
100%.
That's only because I don't know any of these other 3 games. So the Xbox games of gold for June are The King's Bird from June 1st, well, for the whole month of June, Shadows Awakening from June 16th to July 15th, Neo Geo Battle Coliseum from June 1st to June 15th, and then Injustice Gods Among Us from June 16th to June 30th. The Xbox fans, sorry, Games of Gold is not that good. It should be better. It needs to be better. I understand that, I understand, Phil, all the money goes to Game Pass, but I mean, got to give Games of Gold some type of love.
Yep.
Sorry. It is what it is.
Yeah, I voiced my opinion. I made a video about that.
He did. He made a whole video about that. Go check that one out so you can hear Karen, be angry and, kind of ask Phil Spencer, but also kind of sort of demand that he make Games of Gold better or get rid of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, respect. Just pay our respects to Games of Gold for this month. Keep it moving. BlizzCon 2021 has been canceled. It's not happening this year yet again, just like last year. Blizzard put out a blog post about it. I'm just going to read one little quote here from it because I think it really kind of sums it all up. They said here, quote, "The ongoing complexities and uncertainties of the pandemic have impacted our ability to properly move forward on many of these fronts. And ultimately, we're now past the point where we'd be able to develop the kind of event we'd want to create for you in November," end quote, which makes perfect sense. Just don't take it. Just let's call this year a wash too. Even if vaccines are kind of getting out there, and more people are getting it, you never really know the state of things and how things are going to be the next day and all. You don't want to make a bunch of plans and then things go south. So better just this year, we won't do it. But next year, they did say that they are going to be planning for a mixture of an in-person and online event for BlizzCon 2022. I believe it said sometime early next year. So that's something to look forward to. Again, I don't imagine big in-person events are going to be a thing until like next year. Next next year, at least in the gaming space, we'll probably start seeing them slowly start to like come back to fruition. All right, next up after this, we got confirmation of the date and time frame for the Xbox and Bethesda E3 showing. It is coming on June 13th. It will be 90 minutes long. There's going to be world premieres, games, Game Pass, all that stuff. Yes, Kieran.
Basically confirmed we are seeing Starfield, because if you look at the image for the showcase that Xbox put out, there is a very clear in the bottom left of that like sphere thing. There is a very clear image of the trailer from Starfield we have already seen.
Yeah, so that's going to be there. Halo's going to be there. And interestingly enough, I wonder if that was supposed to be teasing Halo multiplayer, because none of those characters are Master Chief. They all like different looking Spartans. So
I mean, definitely wouldn't surprise me.
It wouldn't surprise me either, but I wonder. So yeah, that's happening. I very much look forward to hearing world premiere.
I was literally waiting to say the same thing.
Console exclusive. World premiere.
World premiere.
Just over and over and over. It's like, we don't need, like, I understand why Xbox does it, but we don't need that. We don't need that at all. It just takes up time.
No, leave it. It's
unnecessary time. Can we get rid of it, please, Phil?
No.
Like, I understand why you do it. It's your thing over there. It's your thing. But we don't need to hear world premiere after every trailer. Every trailer is a world premiere. It's the first time we're seeing it. We don't need that.
No, Phil, if you're listening, keep it. I give you permission.
We'll have to disagree on that one. Got some Nintendo stuff here for us. And it's about the Switch Pro yet again, because Switch Pro rumors just cease to die. But it will reportedly be out as soon as September, possibly, maybe. This comes from Bloomberg, article by Takashi Mochizuki, I hope I pronounced that correctly, and Debbie Wu, saying here, Nintendo company plans to begin assembly of its new Switch as soon as July and release the upgraded replacement for its 4-year-old game console in September or October, people familiar with the matter said. The new console, likely to be priced higher than the $299 original, may be announced ahead of the E3 conference starting June 12th to allow publishers to showcase their full range of Switch games at the global event. The people, as said, asking not to be named because of the plans are not yet public. It will be sold alongside the $199 Switch Lite, with the standard Switch phased out over time. Assemblers will start shipping the new model, whose commercial name is known only to a handful of people within the Kyoto-based company, as early as July, and production is planned to ramp up to a peak in the October-December quarter. This is despite widespread semiconductor shortages that have affected the supply of everything from automobiles to TVs, headphones, to game consoles, including the Switch itself. A Nintendo spokesman declined to comment. I have two thoughts on this. One, I'm tired of hearing about this thing.
Yep.
Either confirm it or kill it. I'm tired of hearing about these rumors. It is not because I don't want it to be a thing. I would like it to be a thing. But can we just stop talking about... I want to know the actual name of this thing, and that way we can just let the rumors die. Stop the rumors about this.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing about them. Number two, I don't understand the let's announce it before E3 so people can show their games on it at E3 thing. And the reason I don't understand it is because even if they announced at E3, people would still show their games off for it at E3 when Nintendo announces it at E3.
Yeah. Like, hang on, a suggestion for Nintendo. Instead of announcing it before E3, how about it be the first thing at your E3 presentation, and then everything else would be announcing their games for the Switch Pro at E3. Like, the exact same plan you have now, just rather than dropping it on a random day, do it at the place where everyone's going to be watching anyway.
Yeah, it's yet again one of these things where it's like, Are we just announcing all the E3 news before E3?
Yeah.
If we're announcing all the E3 news before E3, what is going to be there at E3? I'm sure there's still going to be big stuff there, but we're announcing big things prior to it. What is going to be there? What surprises are going to be there?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you and me were saying before we start recording that, like, if they're showing all this stuff now, what the hell are they having at their E3 presentation that they felt would be more of a hitter than their, like, massive games in development?
Who knows? Who knows at this point, man?
Well, I'm sure you'll find out on Wednesday.
We will. Yeah, we'll find out sometime soon. All right, couple things here left. Really quick and easy ones to get through. We got some Dragon Quest news the other day. It was a stream that happened. I didn't watch the stream. They announced some stuff about Dragon Quest X happening. They announced another spinoff. But I think the two big things that came from this were, number one, the announcement of Dragon Quest XII, The Flames of Fate. That game is announced. It is the next mainline game of the series. No platforms were confirmed yet. It will have a simultaneous worldwide launch. And I don't have this here in the doc, but I did read in one of the articles somewhere about it that it was said to be more of an adult type of Dragon Quest, as opposed to previous ones. I wonder what that means. I wonder if that means we're going to have a different art style. I wonder if that means we're not going to have like the same kind of art design or character design, because for the longest time, the character design has kind of been done by the guy who did the character design for Dragon Ball Z. If you look at the art for the characters, like he's done it. So I wonder if we're gonna like that's not gonna be there, or if it's still well, but it's like a more adult type of story and gameplay and mechanics and all that. It'll be interesting to see. And I think the one that I'm most excited about, as I'm not a Dragon Quest person, I've never played a Dragon Quest game, but the one I'm very excited about here is a Dragon Quest III remake that got announced. And this is very exciting because it is an HD 2D remake. What do I mean by that? It is being redone like Octopath Traveler. It looks like Octopath Traveler with like, you have the 2D sprites, but it's in a 3D isometric type of space and all. The lighting is it just looks so good. I did not play Octopath Traveler, but I cannot deny the game is gorgeous. It is amazing. It's beautiful. So Dragon Quest III being remade like that is awesome and fantastic. And I think if we are going to get any Final Fantasy 1 through 6 remade, I would hope to God that they do it like that. I hope so, because that would be fantastic. And everyone will be happy with that. No one will be mad. No one will be upset. Because the HD 2D like style is it's gorgeous. It's beautiful. I don't think anyone can argue with that.
Nope.
All right, next up. Cyberpunk 2077 has a new game director. This is from IGN by Kat Bailey. Gabriel Amant. I'm gonna butcher the last name. Gabriel Amatangelo will be Cyberpunk 2077's new game director. He's gonna replace the former one, Adam Badowski, who's gonna remain with CD Projekt Red. Well, CD Projekt, but he's gonna focus on other projects. Amatangelo will be tasked with leading development on CD Projekt's upcoming expansions, which are currently in development. CD Projekt is also actively working on improving Cyberpunk 2077, so on and so forth. Good for the game, I guess. I hope things turn around for that game, because man, it seems like we just keep hearing stuff that's not that good about it. And this is good, but also like, man, we're losing the former director after the game came out. It's very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. A couple of things. One, like you said, I'm sure it's going to be good for the game. Two, we never really hear anything good about the game. Three, I'm so done talking about Cyberpunk.
And that's why we're not lingering on this story.
Yep.
That's happening, and we're moving on. Dying Light 2 had a stream. That stream was yesterday, Thursday the 27th. Dying Light, it gave us some new gameplay trailer, new look at the game. It looks great. Looks like it'll be fun.
Yeah.
It was exciting hearing more about it. It has a new name, which I'm not a fan of. It is called Dying Light 2 Stay Human. No colon in there. Dying Light 2 Stay Human. Okay. Yep. Very weird.
Yep.
It got a release date though. December 7th, 2021. awesome. Very much looking forward to that. The first game was great. This is a perfect time for this one to roll on in end of the year. Has a new synopsis as well, saying that players will take control of Aiden Caldwell, a survivor trying to piece together his past. 3 factions are vying for power over the scraps of civilization. Aiden can work for or against each of these factions to help shape your story, but at night, all 3 factions are at the mercy of the zombies. Did you play Dying Light?
A little bit. I didn't particularly like it. They announced a Platinum Edition. I plan to pick that up. I do want to go back to it and try and replay it. And the Platinum Edition just seems like the best way to do that, especially since it's on sale for, I guess like £21 or something on Xbox just now.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's £21 for the next like 4 days, and then it goes up to like 92. So I'll definitely be picking that up in the next couple of days. Yeah, like you, really not a fan of the name. We should have just left it as Dying Light 2. Also, I'm just waiting for the announcement. Oh, it's been delayed again.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens, but I'm hoping it doesn't, because I want this game to come out.
Yeah.
I want to play it. Although, it looks like it'll be really good.
Yeah, I will say from what I saw when I watched the stream 2 days ago, that I do really like the look of it. It does look very good.
Yeah. I like what they're trying to go for with the story in terms of like your choices having major consequences on the world and everything. Like that's really intriguing. I hope they can stick the landing on it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Dying Light 1. I didn't even think about that. Dying Light 1, I liked it. It's crazy because when I first started playing it, I wasn't really feeling it. So I put it down. And then like a couple months later, I came back to it. When I came back to it, everything clicked. And I was like, this game's amazing. It's a lot of fun. It's like the parkour and the zombie fighting was so much fun. The story's fine. It's goofy, I guess. Don't take it too seriously. You just like go for the ride and all. But great game. Looking forward to the sequel. Then we got 2 more streams this week. Well, actually, hold on. There's a third one. I forgot to put it in the doc. The Sonic stream that happened. Sonic Central one. They announced, a bunch of stuff they're doing for the 30th anniversary. So we got the music event that I mentioned earlier during Summer Game Fest. Some merchandise stuff that's happening and all. Then they announced Sonic Colors Ultimate, basically a remaster of Sonic Colors, which is a very well-liked game in the Sonic series.
Yeah.
I never played it, but that's awesome that's happening. And then they also announced, they teased a new 3D Sonic game with a very short trailer that showed Sonic running in a forest with pixely stuff coming out the ground and then a weird symbol. No name. I think it said 2022. We'll find out more about that at some point in time.
Sonic Boom 2.
I was about to say, well, hopefully it can, get fans out of the Sonic fans out the eternal cycle that they're in of this game looks great. It'll be awesome. Then they get it. The game sucks. It's terrible. New game gets announced. It's going to be awesome. And just repeated cycle over and over again. Yeah,
I am just real quick. I don't know if you know the comedy band Starbomb. It's like a video game comedy group made up of the Game Grumps. And in one of their songs, they're talking about like song ideas, and one of them is like Sonic Boom. The next line is "Where's the joke?" and the next line is that is the joke.
That's funny. That's funny. Since we're on Sonic funny things real quick, have you ever seen the Sonic fan dub of Sonic the Hedgehog? All right, if anyone has not watched this, go on YouTube, look up Sonic fan dub or Sonic 2006 fan dub. Okay, they basically do an improv dub of the entire Sonic 06 game. It is hilarious. It is hilarious. It's just awesome. I don't want to say anything more about it. It's just funny. The plot lines that they introduce and the character arcs they have for the characters, it's great. And they've done it for that. They've done one for Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, maybe the first Sonic Adventure as well. They did one for Sonic Riders. They've done a couple different fan dubs for the Sonic games.
Yeah.
I've seen Riders and Sonic 06. I think some of Adventure 2. But Riders and 06, those are some really funny ones. Definitely give them a watch.
Yeah, all I want is the Shadow the Hedgehog remaster.
Maybe we'll get that one day.
Hopefully.
Maybe. Actually, I don't know. In today's day and age, it might just be seen as too edgy. It's like,
probably.
Look back at that and cringe. We got a state of play for Horizon Forbidden West yesterday. Oh man, showed off 14 minutes of gameplay. And let me tell you, it was all on PS5. But let me tell you, oh my God.
Yep.
Does
100%.
that game look gorgeous?
Mhm.
Like the first, sorry for anyone that was just heard. I apologize if I just broke your ears. The first game to this day is still arguably one of the best looking games of the past generation.
Yeah.
Arguably. It's specifically on the PlayStation side of things. That and Ghost of Tsushima are like neck and neck for like most gorgeous game, best looking game of the generation. This one, Forbidden West, just oh my God. It's stunning, visually stunning, gameplay wise, it's stunning too. Aloy has a bunch of new tricks up her sleeve. She has like an energy type of glider, diving in the water, which the underwater looked beautiful as well. She has some new gadgets, not gadgets, but like new weapons. She had like a slingshot that shot off a grenade that slowed down and one of the giant like elephant tremor tusses, what they're called.
Yes.
We saw dinosaur raptors in the game being ridden by some raiders. And she did this one really cool move that I saw someone made a gif of, where I don't know what it was. She took out something that attached to her spear and then slammed her spear into the ground. But like it had a really cool cinematic like cutscene to it that I saw someone on Twitter say, this is the most Kingdom Hearts 3 thing I've ever seen. I was like, yes, that is a Kingdom Hearts type animation right there for sure. I love it. I am all in on that game. And I will be talking about that game more on the E3 2021 predictions because I haven't thought about it.
Yeah. I just real quick, I tweeted about it after I watched the state of play, and I was like, this game looks as impressive as Zero Dawn was when it was announced.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, give me that game. It looks really good.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this one, man. That's going to be such a good game when it comes out.
Yeah.
Such a good game. Finally, rounding out everything here. Wow, I realized I have a Y at the end of this first word. So according to the doc, Far Cry 6 is releasing on October 7th, 2021. What I meant to write was Far Cry 6. We got a stream for it today. I didn't watch the stream live. Good thing I didn't, because that was really weird. Like they said the stream was going to be at one time, and then there's a countdown to that time. And then you get to that time, and then it started another 30-minute countdown.
Yep.
So when you go to look at the video on YouTube, it says it's like 40-something minutes long. 30 minutes of that is just the countdown. And then the only stuff of substance is 2 videos that come at the end. Regardless, the game was cool. The story seems really cool and interesting. I'm very intrigued by what's going on there. Giancarlo Esposito, he's a cool guy.
Yep.
He's intimidating as a villain, no matter what he's in. So I'm definitely gonna play it off that level alone. But no, yeah, I'm looking forward to this game. I liked Far Cry 5. Didn't love it, but I liked it. I think Far Cry 5 kind of lost me with not just the story, like the way the game ended. I was like, this just kind of came out of left field the way this game ended. But like some gameplay aspects, like at first, okay, it's cool, having enemies kind of coming at you all the time randomly. But at a certain point, it's like, all right, you guys got coming after me like all the time. Like I just killed a bunch of guys. I took 5 steps. Now like a whole another truckload is coming after me. Let's like down the street. Can we not right now? Really annoying. But Far Cry 6, I want to see more from this game. The crafting that they're doing with the weapons, the creative weapons that they have seems interesting. The story, I like the story hook that they have here of like, as John Carlos' character, I forgot the name of his Anton. Anton is the name of his character. Is like this fascist leader for the island of Yara. And you have a personal stake in the fight against him and everything. So I'm intrigued by this. I want to see more of it. I want to play this game. Hopefully it's good though.
Yeah, I mean I have played every Far Cry game since 3. I have finished no Far Cry games since 3. Like they're okay. They just never keep my attention span for long because I'm just like, it's just walking about and then like go and clear this outpost or go and do this mission. Go and clear this outpost, go and do this mission. So like they don't really keep my attention. I'm actually like, well, after seeing the stream for it yesterday, I'm actually fairly excited for Far Cry 6. It looks really good.
Yeah, I was looking forward to it. Wasn't that excited for it. I don't know if I would say I'm super excited now, but I'm greatly
intrigued.
looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm like, that's the thing. I was always looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to it more now, but I'm not fully excited yet.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
That is all the big news for the past 2 weeks. And my audacity has to set being more than the amount of time that we kind of thought it would be.
Yep.
But it was still shorter than
fine.
a usual episode. So I think we did pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Karen, where can the people find you?
On Twitch, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Badlynet, BADLYNET, all one word.
Awesome. Remember, you can find me on Twitter at TylerMiller2496. I tweet a bunch of stuff, all kinds of fun stuff, chat with me and everything. Remember, 2 days from now, on Wednesday, June 2nd, I'm messing up my days in my head, but June 2nd, yes, our E3 2021 predictions episode will be going live. So make sure you go watch and listen to that episode. Subscribe to us on podcast services so you know you can listen to us there. Turn on notifications. Subscribe on YouTube. Turn on notifications there so you know when the video goes up. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Play2WinGame so that you have updates on anything going on with the show. And, stay alert. Go check out our other videos on YouTube as well. Yeah, that's about it. That's all I got to say. With all that being said, thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this mini episode of the Play to Win podcast. And we will see you in just a little bit. Have a good one.
See you later.